Hi, I'm Ingrid Hahn. This is number 5 in my historical romance appreciation video series. Before we get to historical romance, I want to talk about a contemporary romance I highly recommend. This is First Comes Marriage by Sophia Sasson. When she first put this book out, she did a signing at the Rockville Barnes & Noble, and I used to live by the Rockville Barnes & Noble, and she's my friend, so I went. I chatted with her a little bit. She signed a book for me. She did amazing table magic. She could really sell a book. I think she sold all her books that day, and I bought a copy and I read it. I am not a small town romance kind of person. I am not a sweet romance kind of person. I love this book. It's one of my favorite romances of all time. The characters are wonderful. The heroine is not white. The whole town is lovely. The plot is speedy and the writing is amazing. She is a very precise writer. There's a lot of simplicity to how she writes, but don't confuse simplicity with a lack of power or a lack of emotion or a lack of ability to convey complex ideas, because she hits it out of the park. Her second one I read, it's a political romance. My child spilled an entire mug of hot chocolate on it, so I do not have that to show you. I haven't replaced the copy yet. I will. This is number 3. This one is one of the books on my Goodreads shelf that I haven't updated because I actually haven't finished it, not just because I haven't gotten around to updating my Goodreads. This book is very, very difficult for me to read. The backstory that the hero and heroine endured is gut-wrenching. You feel the bone-crushing, strangling sorrow and grief that these people had to endure, that they have to work through to get their happily ever after. She has a new book coming out August 1st, I think this Tuesday. I have it on pre-order. I can't wait to get it. I finished this today. It's Mary Balogh's The Arrangement. It's one of the Survivor Club novels. I think it was excellent. I'll just say that right off the bat. The writing was amazing. I loved the hero. I think this book would have worked better for me personally had it been a novella. And my other tiny criticism of it is that there was this thing about the heroine's looks, and that's just not my style. I didn't care that much. But that's very, very personal preference. I really enjoyed it. If you like your romances to transport you to a kinder, gentler time, this is the romance for you. If you haven't read it yet, pick it up. And if you're also going through a tough time in your life, I kept thinking that as I was reading it, I was like, this is perfect for somebody going through a really rough time, rough patch, who needs a really nice escape. That's the book you want to pick up. In episode 2, I mentioned the name Jeannie Lynn, and up until now, we haven't gotten around to talking about Jeannie Lynn at all, but today is the day. Now, I have had these books out for a few weeks in my little nest I've sort of created it for these videos, and I've been looking at these covers, thinking about doing more videos. Can you believe how gorgeous they are? The Harlequin art department really outdid themselves for what they put together for these covers. This cover in particular really speaks to me. I think it's most beautifully composed. The colors are stunning, and the sky is gorgeous. And I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but it was late one night, and there might have been some tea involved. I don't really want to say because I don't want to incriminate myself. Darjeeling, my favorite. But I started reading this book. It's a little bit out of order because that's the story of my life these days, doing everything out of order. That's fine. This is, you can tell from the title, My Fair Concubine, that it's going to be a Pygmalion story. The nobleman who turned a tea girl into a princess. Love it. I'm going to read you some pieces from it. Now, she sets this in 824 AD, or Common Era, and Chinese history is a huge, huge missing piece of my historical knowledge. I'm not proud of that fact, and I hope to remedy it someday. Won't be anytime soon, but I have a lot on my bucket list. Not climbing Mount Everest, reading and learning history, writing amazing books. Now, if you kind of need a little bit of a placement of where 824 is in history, Charlemagne in Europe was born, I think, 17. I write Regency, of course I'm going to say 17. In 742, and he died about 813. Charlemagne is Charles I, King of the Franks, or Charles the Great. Just to give you a little idea. Jeannie Lynn has an amazing grasp of craft. She's extremely intelligent. I love this. Okay, page 33. There will be no storm of passion. I know who I am, he said calmly, and I know who you are. She regarded him warily. So? We're from very different classes in society. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Yin and yang know no class, she retorted. But I do, and I won't forget, he promised. Ever. I swear I won't touch you. It's in neither of our best interests. She pulled away from the wall, but remained crouched and defensive. Because she was sleeping and he gave her a blanket, not because they're in some sort of weird abusive situation right now. Reads a little strangely without context. Because I'm a lower standing than you and you'd never touch me? Yes. Thanks, guys. Her shoulders remained tense. She seemed to be struggling with his logic, but finally she came to some resolution. I suppose, my lord, that I should find that a comfort, she muttered. I love no sex oaths. Oh no. You are such a lower class than me. It would be just so wrong for us ever to go to bed together. He says on page 33. Page 55. Will you abandon me as well? He asked tonelessly. She frowned. I don't understand, my lord. His throat closed tight and he had to force out the words. Our arrangement is an unusual one. I have no assurance that you won't decide one day that it's no longer worth the sacrifice. If Yan Ling suddenly ran away like Pearl and Min, he'd be left with nothing. The family name would fall completely to ruin. Fei Long had also put his hopes on an outsider. The uncertainty left him vulnerable and darkened his spirit. The shadow of it had hovered over him during their journey, and it clung to him now. This was the closest he'd ever come to admitting this fear to her. Vulnerable hero on page 55. You know that's going to be good. Next author that I want to talk about is Joanna Bourne. Before I do that, though, I want to say that I am doing these videos wholly out of the love of my heart for my own books, my own inspirations. I'm getting no input from anybody about the books. My husband gives me some critiques about the videos themselves. Oh, the shine. Yes, I'm sorry, honey. I'm not getting free books. I'm not getting paid. If you want to pay me, that's fine. We have a lot of debt. I'd like to pay it off. You can send me a big box full of cash. American, Euro, Australian, Canadian. As long as it folds, that's fine. Could probably always get it exchanged. I do feature some authors I know, but I recommend their books because I love their books, not because I owe these authors a favor or I'm sucking up or anything like that, just because I think they should get out in the world and be loved and read the way I love them. So Joanna Bourne has a book coming out on August 1st, Beauty Like the Night, and coming up to that release, she put out, this exists online before it, but this is when I saw it, on Heroes and Heartbreakers, the reading order, which is not publication order, a little bit different. The first book you should read to get ready for the release is The Forbidden Rose. Spy Master's Lady is next, then Rogue Spy, Her Ladyship's Companion, not the best cover, My Lord and Spy Master, and then Black Hawk, which I could not find. I think I own a copy, but not all of our stuff is unpacked from the move. It's the end of July. We moved in Thanksgiving. That's just life. Now, Elizabeth Hoyt and Sherry Thomas, are my gold standards for overall authorial voice, over all their work. That's just sort of how it always comes out. But Joanna Bourne is another kind of gold standard. Her voice for Anique is amazing. You can hear the French accent come through on the page, and I've never read anything like that before. So this is one of the books I found a few weeks ago in Hagerstown, Maryland at Wonder Books. And since I picked up a copy, I have been finding it in new places. I found 4 copies of it 2 weeks ago at Richard McKay in Manassas, Virginia, and I found a copy of it in the Silver Spring Friends of the Library bookstore. So I thought if I keep running into it, then I probably should read it. So I'm going to be reading it over the next few weeks. It has very good reviews on Amazon. Unfortunately, I did not find any evidence that it's available on Kindle, but I'm thinking if I found it so readily, maybe it's just not some sort of weird concentration of this book in my area or places that I'm going, but maybe it's available in other used bookstores across the country too, or available used on Amazon. So if you want to read along with me, I'm reading it over the next few weeks, and we can talk about it on Twitter or any way you want. Get in touch. Thanks. I have been asking people to tell me why they love historical romance and to tweet me just one quick, easy little line about what it means to them, their number one reason for reading it. And Harmony Williams, another Entangled author, tweeted me and told me what she thought. She said, "Why I love historical romance. Someday I'll perfect my time machine. Until then, books with swoony heroes and happily ever afters for the win," which is a great reason. So I'm going to take that as inspiration. In the next video, I'm going to feature swoony heroes. See you then.